there's been a, wait for it,
change of plans. Like you didn't see that coming.
This week's episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Check them out if you're looking for a website or a domain. Let's go for a roll, we'll get you up to speed.
Here she comes like the rays of the sun, she shines. A 10 out of 10, Lord, she's no less than a dime.
The launch date is the 10th of January. We're not making it. I think it'll be extended by 3 weeks, maybe 3.5. There's a couple of reasons.
Getting boat insurance on an old steel boat that's quite big and was an ex-commercial boat is proving to be quite challenging. Where we are in Australia, in Queensland, we've been isolated from the rest of the country for quite a while, so they kept the borders shut and they're starting to reopen them. The challenge for us though being is that with the new variants coming through, it does put Jess at risk, so we have to be really, really careful about how we approach that. And as such, it's made us have to be pretty cautious about volunteers coming onto the boat, and that in itself has slowed the boat progress down as well.
At this time of the year, you get quite a bit of rain, and apparently because of La Nino,
La Nino,
it's predicted there's a lot more rain than normal, and the weather's going to be pretty shocking. There's an expectation of cyclones and all sorts of chaos. So there's a chance, we've got 3 weeks in the bay, there's a chance that 2.5 weeks might be rain.
Yeah.
So that might put a damper on things too. So the launch that we thought was well organised and okay, no complications, is not so easy. Injured leg.
Oh yeah, that
2
happened.
weeks ago this happened, so it's quite restricting. I've been told it'll take a little while to heal, so it's painful to put any pressure on my leg at all, so I can't carry any weight on there. So Dame's been doing everything, including lifting me occasionally, but I'm healing, I'm doing well. I'm got it braced most of the time now. I'm sleeping finally, which is really awesome, but it's going to be a little while, so I'm kind of out for the count. Even I wasn't doing that much anyway on boat work.
I feel like I need to clarify that statement of Jess's. She's pretty modest. When she says she doesn't do a lot of boat work, she still does about 90 hours a week behind the scenes, editing, filming, making sure everything's running, organising sponsorships, volunteers, making sure parts arrive on time.
But now I'm really restricted, so we're pretty frustrated.
Right now it's Friday. We have 2 days and the boat's going to be picked up by the travel lift.
Like 2 and a bit days, but it's 2 days. Just to reiterate, 2 days. Just in case you missed it, it was 2 days.
So
you know it's 2 days?
Wow, it's quite close when you put it like that.
It's really close. I'm more excited than nervous, but it's like there's so much work to do in the next 2 days.
So we're getting picked up by the travel lift from where we are now in the yard here, where we've been doing the work for a long time, many years, 4 years I think, until last time we moved the boat, and we're getting picked up and we're going to be put into these blast bays here. That's a relatively straightforward process. We have to be able to get the slings under the boat and then the boat lifted and pulled out, so the slings have to have a clean run all the way out.
The plan was going from the bays to here, straight in.
Yeah.
It looks like we're going to have to go back onto the hard stand for 3 weeks.
Yeah, probably.
And finish off the last things.
Yeah.
So we'll be all spruced up and painted, ready to go. We only just have to put the anti-foul on at the last minute.
Yeah.
But there are some jobs we have to finish off. In 2 days we'll be moving Brupeg. We're going to be focusing on blasting, sanding and painting. Ray, who's doing our survey, is booked in for Tuesday. It's now Friday. So we've got a few things we've got to get through. We've got to get the life vests up on the back deck. We've got to get the batteries ratcheted down. We did a trip down to Brisbane, the last trip probably for a while, for some medical things. So I've got an update about my brain injury, which we'll talk about a wee bit later. So it's a chaotic, busy time as usual on Brupeg, but what makes it so wonderful is the bugs and the heat and the humidity.
I miss the humidity when I go to somewhere dry and comfortable.
On the top of Brupeg's cabin we have these hatches that I built years ago, and I need to be able to lock them down. I do have a stud welded in the top there, you can see that there, and I was going to make like a dog type arrangement. But I'm running out of time and I just need to come up with something simple. Deadbolts. So I was thinking, okay, well I'll weld it onto the underside of the lid like so, and then in this part here I'd be able to just drill a hole, and it does go through and make it not perfectly waterproof, but it does mean that I can lock it. So I was thinking, okay, well that's a simple solution. However, so what I was thinking is making a little spacer that holds this deadbolt off the surface of this lid, and then somehow making a little gadget so that on that lid I don't have to break the waterproofing. Doing it that way saves me having to build anything, any sort of little fancy gadgets that go underneath this, blocks of say plywood or aluminium or steel or whatever it is we decide to use. I don't have to do any of that. I can just basically make something out of this angle, make it nice and smooth and lovely, weld it on, and we're good to go. Them's my bracket. So if I weld that in like that, and then this guy can then mount like that on top of the lid. I can't show you it sliding in because my custom mount here is a bit rubbish, but that fits in there quite lovely. And important thing I realised after I cut them is the height of them matters, because if it sticks up above that level there, I can't weld this bit here onto the hatch. So I think we're good to go with these. I've just shaved a little bit off the top. You can sort of see it's quite close to the hole, but I think they're going to work fine now. And one thing I realised is that because it'll be welded like so, I can adjust this up and down. If I ever need to make it tighter or looser, I can just basically bend it and adjust it.
Dane brought me a new car for my birthday and it fits inside Brupeg. Thanks Squarespace for supporting this episode. You've been supporting us for a while now, we really appreciate it. Guys, if you're looking for a way to do a website or start a small business and you want to do it your own way, check these guys out, they're amazing.
Squarespace is an online platform that allows you to create a website and run your own business how you want. We're big fans of anything that makes it possible to be a bit more self-expressed in this world, and Squarespace have a platform that allows you to do that. The Squarespace platform helps make your business a reality. Whether you're selling products, providing services, or creating something unique like a community that needs a members-only area so that creators and their audiences can get together so that you can provide member-only content, this platform offers a step-by-step process, and we love this, the fact that you can do it yourself and small businesses can keep their costs low. Don't get caught thinking inside the box. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/Project Brupeg and you'll receive 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
It's time to get these locks in, so let me show you how they're going to work. Normally these hatches have an electric linear actuator that basically lifts them up and down, so that Jess can lift them up and down by the push of a button. Saves her having to do any grunt work, and it also means we can pull them down really tightly. Again, with a flick of a button we can flick it and walk away knowing it's going to pull it down nice and tight, but we need to have a lock in order to pass insurance survey. So that's what today's job is. Over here you can see up in the corner I've marked where the edges of the deadbolt are going to be, and I'll grind that off, and that'll allow me to weld that straight on, and then we're going to weld this little locking gadget that we made onto the edge, so it'll be something like that, sort of tucked into the edge like that, welded. But every worker knows it's always good to have a little bit of peril when you're doing a job, just to keep you on your toes. Today we're welding over the top of a lovely inexpensive Mac. Also, for those that commented on the last episode, this nut, because we're going to nice cold environments, people were worried about this nut being very difficult to get on and off. We have a plan for that. We're not going to do a wing nut because that still involves fingers, but we have a plan for this, so stay tuned for something new and exciting happening on Brupeg's nuts. It's important to have any metal that you're going to TIG weld really clean, so that'll probably do it. Okay, I'm not going to bother using filler rod. It whiz up and down the side of this. So this guy welded in, it's time to do the other one and also fit the locks. I don't quite know how I'm going to do this because I need to TIG weld this little bracket in here. The TIG torch is too bulky to get in there, and I need 3 hands because I need filler rod on this as well. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge. Extreme stick out and wait for a drop in the wind. Yeah, we can do it now. Here goes nothing. Oh, you're not going to believe it. It worked. The sun's screwing up my visor, I can't actually see. Wind gust. Alright, one done. In case you're wondering what this big blue strap is beside me, this is a 2.5 ton strap that I use to basically give a bit of a curve to the shade cloth that's normally on the front of Brupeg. That shade cloth is absolutely essential to life in Australia. Without it, it's about roughly 1,000 degrees centigrade, or in Fahrenheit I think that's about 27 million. Right, that's not as aligned as I was hoping. Again, There we go, welded. Locks, latches, the lot.
Jess and I have been feeling pretty shattered the last few months with all of the work going on the boat, so we took a couple of days off in Brisbane. We had to come down for some appointments for Jess to find out what's going on inside her lovely little head. Whilst we were down here, we grabbed some parts of the boat, and I had an opportunity to have a walk around of a super yacht that's getting some work done on it at one of the work yards in Brisbane. Obviously I couldn't video any of this for privacy reasons, but it was awesome to get some knowledge of how they set that boat up, some of the systems they use, and how they manage and maintain reliability.
Though life rearranges, I'll be alright. All because of you. I am strong again. Because of you. I've got hope again. Because of you. Maybe love has found me. I'm starting to think that you could be one of the good ones. You could be one of the few. You could be one of the good ones. You got me hoping. You got me thinking it could be you. You see me walking on air without a single care. A big smile on my face, no one could erase. All because of you. I am strong again. Because of you. I can hold.
I'd like to introduce you to a special project that's happening behind the scenes that not many people know about. This is a navigation system for Brupeg. Now we need something pretty substantial, and a friend of ours in New Zealand, Peter, has donated a Northstar navigation system to Brupeg. This is a vital piece of equipment for us to be able to go where we want to go to some of these remote places, and this equipment is probably overkill for what we need, which is absolutely perfect. The backbone of the system is 3 touchscreens to control it, a 6 kilowatt radar, and a 1 kilowatt sounder. The second part of the equation for Brupeg is linking the navigation system to a custom data logging system that's been built for us by a friend of ours on the Sunshine Coast, Duncan. Now this is based on Raspberry Pi. We have dual layers of Raspberry Pi, so we have redundancy. If one fails, we can run automatically from the second, and there's a duplicate being built for Renko. It's all connected using NMEA 2000 connectors, and it links together with some custom code that's been written and running for some time now. This is displayed on a touchscreen dashboard, and we can start looking at sensors right around the boat. So it could be anything from the engine controls to comfort in the boat, so we can look at temperatures and so forth. We can start logging our position and put that on our website if required, so that people can follow Brupeg in real time. And we can overlay navigation charts from every sector of the world with information such as wind and weather maps.
So what does this nav system mean? Basically, when Brupeg gets into the water, or shortly after we get into the water, we're going to be ready to safely navigate pretty much any ocean in the world from a navigation perspective. We've got charts that cover the whole planet. The tracking software that Duncan has wrote, and hardware as well that he's put together as well. This allows us to basically figure out what's going on with the engine over long periods of time. We can monitor over a 3-month period what's happened with oil pressure in the gearbox or the engine, generator, exhaust temp, what happens pre and post veg oil. So running on diesel, what does the engine look like? Running on veg oil, how does it interact with everything? This is something that's pretty unique to what we've built for Brupeg. I know there's systems out there that can do this, but definitely not in our price league. None of this would have been possible without the skills, the capability and the generosity of Peter and Duncan. Those two have made this absolutely awesome system, and they've made it possible for Brupeg. We're incredibly grateful. This is something that there's just no way that we could have been able to do without your support. So guys, from the bottom of my heart, man, just thank you so much for your generosity.
It's really warm this morning. It's very humid, very little breeze. Such a hot day yesterday, and we got this surprise in the mail. This is from Steve Whitehouse. He watched one of our episodes. We need an EPIRB. We've got the minimum we need to pass the private survey for the boat, but what we actually needed was a EPIRB with a hydrostatic release, and he sent us one. Just donated it. Amazing. Thanks so much, Steve. Lots of attachment points. Beautiful. Ah! Beautiful. Can you see there? We've written Steve's EPIRB. Beautiful. So hydrostatic just means that when the boat goes underwater, it can go down to 4 meters. It automatically releases and floats to the top, and then our location, or at least our last location, can be monitored. So hopefully we can be found if anything happened. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. We'll be fine. We'll never need it. But it's beautiful. I love the casing. It's amazing. Thanks, Steve.